Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom surrounded by vast mountains and deep forests, there was a young boy named Leo. Leo was known in his village for his sense of adventure and curiosity. While other children in the village enjoyed playing games and staying close to home, Leo spent his days exploring the woods, climbing trees, and searching for hidden treasures. His most treasured possession was an old map that he had found in his grandmother's attic when he was just a little boy. The map was ancient and showed the way to a mysterious, forgotten city, the lost city of Lyra. The lost city of Lyra was said to be a place of unimaginable beauty and wealth. According to the stories, it was hidden deep within the Heartwood Forest, a forest that was so large and dense that many people believed it was impossible to navigate. Over the years, many had tried to find the city, but no one had ever returned. Leo didn't believe the stories of the forest's dangers. He believed that with the right courage, he could find the lost city and discover its secrets. One bright morning, Leo packed a bag with supplies, water, bread, a compass, and a notebook, and set off on his grand adventure. His heart was filled with excitement and a little bit of nervousness, but he was determined. As he walked, he kept the map close, tracing the path with his finger, trying to match the landmarks on the map with the ones he saw around him. After a few hours, Leo arrived at the edge of the Heartwood Forest. The trees were enormous, their trunks twisted and gnarled, with thick vines hanging from their branches. The sunlight barely pierced through the dense canopy, and the air was cool and damp. Leo stood for a moment, staring into the dark forest, wondering if he was truly ready for the journey ahead. But then he remembered the stories his grandmother had told him, the tales of brave explorers and hidden treasures, and he stepped into the forest without hesitation. The deeper Leo went into the forest, the more magical everything seemed. Strange flowers bloomed along the path, their petals glowing softly in the dim light. He heard the sound of rustling leaves and the distant call of birds, but there were no other signs of life. He had read that the Heartwood Forest was full of secrets, and now he was beginning to see why. As the day passed, Leo encountered his first challenge. The path ahead of him was blocked by a wide, fast-moving river. The water was too deep to cross, and there was no bridge in sight. Leo looked around, thinking about how to get across. Just then, he spotted a large stone that jutted out of the water like a natural stepping stone. He hesitated for a moment, but then decided to give it a try. With careful steps, Leo hopped from one stone to the next, his heart racing as the water swirled around him. When he finally reached the other side, he let out a sigh of relief. "That wasn't so bad," he muttered, wiping his brow. But his journey was far from over. As he ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the shadows longer. The air grew thicker, and Leo could sense that he was being watched. He shook off the uneasy feeling and pressed on, following the map. Hours turned into days, and Leo's supplies were running low. He grew tired, but he refused to give up. The map indicated that the lost city was still a day's journey ahead, and Leo was determined to reach it. On the fourth day, Leo reached a clearing where he found something truly astonishing. A giant stone door embedded in the side of a mountain. The door was covered in vines, but there was a strange glowing symbol carved into the stone. It looked like a star with many points, and it seemed to shimmer in the fading light. Leo was sure this was it, the entrance to the lost city. He approached the door and examined the symbol closely. The map had mentioned something about a key, but Leo had no key. Then he remembered a detail from the map. Only those with a true heart of adventure can pass through. Thinking hard, Leo realized that the key wasn't a physical object. It was his willingness to believe in the magic of the forest and the power of adventure. He placed his hand on the symbol, closed his eyes, and whispered, "I believe." To his amazement, the stone door began to rumble and slowly creaked open. Leo stepped forward, heart pounding in his chest, and found himself standing in a vast, hidden city. The lost city of Lyra was even more magnificent than he had imagined. The buildings were made of white marble that sparkled in the sunlight, and colorful gardens bloomed with flowers of every kind. The streets were lined with statues of ancient kings and queens, their faces serene and wise. In the center of the city stood a grand palace, its towers reaching high into the sky. As Leo explored the city, he found that it was not abandoned as the legends had said. Instead, it was a place where time had stood still. The city's inhabitants were not humans, but